We're going to be taking a look at method return types. We see we have this keyword void here with our main method, and what exactly does that mean? And are there any other return types that we can have when we're making other methods? So inside of our lemming.java class over here, we're going to head over to the other class we created, the rabbit.java, and we're going to go ahead and design two methods. Both of them are going to have different return types. This first one's going to have that void keyword that we saw, and when you write void, that's going to mean you have no return types. Now saying that you have no return types is going to mean a little bit more to you once we see exactly what a return type is with the next method we design. But let's take a look at this first one right now. Say we're to write, this is the print text method over here. When you have something that's not going to have a return type, a void method, it's typically going to have an output request inside of it, or it might do a little bit of behind the scenes work like setting a variable equal to a certain argument, for example, which we'll see in the next video. Now for now, we can go ahead and put the output request in here. We can go ahead and write system out print line, this message is in a void method. Just like that. And off the line like that. Now, whenever we want to call upon this inside of the main method, we know that we need to head inside of the main method. We need to go ahead and create an object, right, to access something inside of another class, which is done by writing the name of the class, then creating your object with whatever name you want. So I'll call this rabbit object, and you'll set this to new. And once again, you write the name of the class, open and close bracket, and end that off with a semicolon. Now, whenever you want to access something inside of the other class, for example, this main method, or this print text method over here, we need to go ahead and use that object in a dot separator. So rabbit object dot separator print text, open close bracket, end that off. And now we can go ahead and actually, well, I should spell it right, I think that would help. We can go ahead and run this, and we see that this is actually giving me, this message is in a void method. Simple enough. Now, what is this really equal to, right? This is the way I want to start off by showing you guys what happens. This here, rabbit object.print text, is really equal to what we have inside of the rabbit method over here. So if you want to actually just look at this, say from like a math perspective, right, seeing what one thing equals to another, we can really look at this as rabbit object.print text here is actually equal to system.out.println, your text inside, whatever it is, and then you go ahead and end that off. So that's really what it's equal to, right? Whatever we have inside of this print text method inside of the other class is really what we're replacing it with right here. So keep this in mind, right? You're going to see exactly what the purpose of me showing it to you in this way is going to mean in a moment. So we're going to head back into a rabbit.java class, and we're going to go ahead and design another method. And this is going to be one that's not going to have a void return type. It's going to have an integer return type, which means it's going to be expecting it to have an integer once it's all finished. We're going to call this the print sum method over here, and I'm going to go ahead and write the keyword return. Right? We're seeing we're already getting errors up there because you need to have the keyword return in here. And I can say that the keyword return, I want to return 1 plus 1. We know that 1 plus 1 is going to be 2, right? So this whole method over here should be equal to 2 in the end. Well, what happens if I were to go back to my lemming.java? I can use the same object we created. So I can go ahead and write rabbit object. And I can say I'm going to call upon print sum right over here. Now, when I go ahead and print this out or run this program now, should we be expecting two different lines here? On the first line, we're going to get the message from the print text. And on the second line, we're going to get the number 2, right? So I go ahead and run this, and we see that we're only going to get the message from the first line. Where is that 2? Well, while we set the rabbit object print text over here was equal to everything inside of it, remember that was for a void method, and the void method is going to just take whatever's inside of it. However, for the methods that are not void and actually have a return type, this over here, you can actually just look at it as the number 2. So let's go ahead and look at that right now. We'll go ahead and make those same comments before. Rabbit, let's take off caps lock, rabbit object dot print sum right here is actually equal to 2. Now we see over here that we have our print out request, right? We have the system out print line, and it's printing out whatever's in here. However, in this case, we don't have that because our return type is just the number 2, right? It's an integer. So you just get the number 2 back. So it's not actually being requested to print this out. It just knows that this here is equal to 2. However, you never said you want to print it out. If you wanted to print out something that was not void and you didn't have the print request already finished, you'd have to go ahead and write system out print line, and in brackets, you have to go ahead and write that entire object with the name of the function you want to call upon, and then end off with a semicolon. So we can put a little space here to see exactly what's going on. We see that now inside of the system out print line, we have the rabbit object dot separator and then the print sum method. And now if we go ahead and run this, we'll see that now we're going to get that 2 printed out. So that's the difference over here. The best way to look at that, and the reason why I brought it up in exactly this way, is that when we have this return type over here, integer, you can assume that this whole thing, when it's being looked at by the other class, right? When you're using this method in the other class, you can assume that the whole thing is just going to be looked at as an integer, which is going to be 2. 2, 1 plus 1. You can actually just put whatever you want down here. I could technically go ahead and put like 50 in here. You don't have to just put a calculation, for example. You can just go ahead and put 50. This entire thing is going to be looked at as an integer. And you can do the same thing by writing double, for example. If you want, you can go ahead and write double here, and then your turn type could be 50.20. And if you go ahead and run this, you'll see that you're going to get 5.2. I guess the 0 is not necessary right there. You're just going to get the 5.2. Now, that's another way to look at it as well, right? We see all that here. We have, this is exactly what you're getting when you don't have the void, right? When you have void, you're looking at exactly what's inside. And in this case, we already have our system out. However, if you're looking at it as an integer is just going to be a number. It's not going to actually have a system output request with it, because that'd be ridiculous. So you will have to include your own output request when you're dealing with something that's not a void method. So I want to put this out there to clear things up. I know it's a little bit confusing, but as we progress through these next few videos in this series, you're going to see exactly what we're doing, because the next few videos are going to be looking at the differences between void and non-void methods. So if you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments below. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I'll be able to clear up anything you have if you leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.